Welcome, note takers, and I guess humans are here as well. Hey, how's it go? Hey, Max. Hey, Daniel. Hey, Edward. Looks nice over there. Uh, Starting nice spring over there. Starting to get cold over here in Argentina.
Finally, the good weather is here.
Yeah. I heard I'm making it frigid. Welcome, Max.
Hello, is my volume on?
Yeah. We can hear you.
Fiddling with all these dials here.
We have an issue with our note taker that never wants to join.
Really? Which one are you using?
At first, I thought it was shy. Now I think it's just rude.
Disrespect to you.
Yeah.
But, I think, okay. Let's see, we got this. Got this. Organize my mess of a desktop.
Yeah. Let's see.
Crash on my computer.
We'll get Sam in here. I had questions about UltraVox.
Okay, I think I'm set as far as arranging stuff.
Okay. Let's see. And a note taker still doesn't join for no reason. Come on, man.
Which one are you using?
Fireflies.
Firefly?
Hey, Zoltan. Hey, Kim.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, Ed, welcome back.
Hi. Hello.
Okay. Hey, Zach. Let's see if I can coerce my fireflies into joining.
Lazy note takers, man. It's unbelievable. They think they get a day off.
AI. Hey, it's all AI driven. Come on, man. It's all AI.
That's a joke. I take it back. AI overlords don't.
Yeah, be careful what you say. They remember everything.
Right now, there's now 8 of us and 6 of them.
Yeah, I apologize. Probably 5 of them are mine.
I used to be that guy. Yeah, sorry guys, give me a second to figure out how to.
You could kick mine out.
No, it's not not that there are too many of them. It's I don't know. I don't even know what it is. Yeah, now it doesn't want to join this. Okay, well, I'll ask for the Fireflies recording from you so we can get the summary. But I am recording on my end, and we will have the recording up later today. You guys, thank you all for joining, and especially Max. I am glad we got to make this happen. Out of the million topics that you could talk about regarding AI automations and voice AI, it's interesting to hear about this new platform. We want to see. Hey, there's my note taker. We want to see what it can. We're curious what it can do, and there's gonna be some questions that we talked about earlier around. Well, how do you actually answer the phone or make a phone call with this beautiful, confusing platform? But I keep hearing from others that other than the price, it can be very powerful. It can be a very powerful platform for people to use. Disclaimer: shiny object syndrome is real. Don't drop everything and change platforms. It's strategic. This workshop is meant to be a strategic perspective on what is possible with other platforms, and for you to look, be with your eyes open as new opportunities come up. Say, oh wait, UltraVox was perfect for that. As new opportunities come up, it doesn't mean change your whole setup right now. All that being said, Max knows some stuff that we don't know regarding this platform. So I'm curious to learn as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Max came into the scene about a year ago, and got the name Voice AI Wizard in the AI automations by Jack community, where he's a prominent figure. When anybody asks about Voice AI, he's the first person to get tagged. A little jealous, but it's awesome the value that you've given Max over and over and over and over again, all day long. How do you even have a full-time job with being so active? I don't get it. But but thank you for everything you do, man, and thank you for taking the time to do this workshop.
Thank you. To be fair, I do egg you when I get tagged.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So I'll share my screen. So a little sort of bad news, and that is that I didn't have enough time to finish the outbound, but I can finish that and like publish it for you guys. There's a lot to cover even without that. So
Totally.
okay. So who am I? I'm Max. See, I started doing this. I think it was like I got my first transaction. Actually, we'll see when I got my first transaction because I'm going to share. My first transaction was with a voice AI solution, and I'll get into that. But I'm married. I have 5 children, including 2 children under 2 years old. I work a full-time job, and I'm old. Well, I mean, I'm 45, so. My professional journey in short is I do have like a tech background. Like I got sort of like when I was a kid, I was pulled into the police because I allegedly hacked. And at that time, like, you know, at that age, there's like this huge scare because of like the movies and stuff that came out. So like they took it very serious, and it was on my permanent record. But you know, you earn a reputation as being like a tech guy. So yeah. And like my father, an interesting thing is my father ran a BBS. Like these are bulletin board systems. It's another topic, but I got my degree in computer science from San Diego State University. It's a party school. I barely attended classes. I was in the crew team. I got like a C- average. I was very involved in everything except for studies. But I graduated. So I got my first job as engineer for a nonprofit, and like it paid nothing. And they made me like a CTO/VP just because they saw they could get a lot of work out of me. And I never managed more than 2 engineers, and my team was never bigger than 6. So that title of CTO sounds bigger than it is. But I did get experience, you know, dealing with a lot of stuff on the fly. So, you know, it counted for something. It didn't pay the bills. So I started doing some web work, including designing, and I'm colorblind. So that may have not been the right choice. I eventually founded my own nonprofit, which is another mistake because it just sucks all your resources and time. But it makes me feel like better about myself, I guess. When ChatGPT came out, like in the news, I immediately had interest in it. I've always thought like one of the first things I made when I was in middle school was this like HyperCard app on a Macintosh, and I wanted to make it like smart, like an AI of some sort. So I've always been attracted to the idea of AI. And I never really got into it though until last year. I think around March or something like that. I think finding people like Jack and seeing the whole make.com AI workspace thing, like you could create solutions with these little, you know, pictures. Like I've done coding, and it's like this seems a lot easier. So yeah, there's a huge attraction to that, and I joined Jack's community. So I guess my defining moment in that community was there's a competition. And it's the biggest competition he's had. Like he hasn't had a competition this size since then. And his community is like more than twice the size now. But this is back in July last year. We had 6 weeks to create an AI solution or service, and then also sell it. Whoever got the most sales and most innovative solution would win first place. And my wife had just given birth, but her mother was here helping with that. So I just like crammed on it. Like my team is it's a team of 4. 2 of our members dropped out. So it was me and some of you might know is Tara, and she's awesome. She's awesome. But at the time she's new to engineering and she was not into sales. So it basically fell on me to design it and stuff like that. And she tried to support it as much as she could. She really worked hard too. But we annihilated the competition. Like it wasn't a competition. Like it was like nobody made any money really except for us. And I guess I'll share that. Now this is how much we made since then. And I haven't gone beyond the, like that 6 weeks I invested back then was like the investment basically. And it's paid dividends since then. And this is like the proof of what we made. And the total I think was over $7,000 we had made. And I still make some money off it. We still make some money off it. And we just pour it back into the project. Like I think we have like over a year of software subscription and stuff like that, prepay, and just tons of credits in these accounts. Cause it's like, we had to split it amongst the team. So it's not like you could pocket it. But yeah, so we did very good. We got the prize, which was, I never got the merch. I need to bug Jack about that. But you get a strategy call, which is great. I don't know if we got a shout out even. Jeez, no, I think it. But anyways,
We'll make it
prize. I gotta follow up about this. This is back in like July, August. But anyway, since then, now I have been called, as Alejo says, an expert in voice AI. I've never picked that. Like before this project, I didn't pick the project. My teammates that dropped out wanted to build an outgoing business coach system. And so I was an engineer. It's like, okay, what do you guys want to build? I'll try to build it. And like, I knew nothing about voice agents, and I just hopped in and just tried to learn it. And in 6 weeks, we built it and stuff like that. And so I had that reputation, even though I was interested in everything, right? Like I've made music solutions, I've made social media stuff, like just, it's a mess. You should see my make. And I have 2 make accounts. I have like 2 N8N accounts. It's just a mess. But yeah, anyways, the most common thing I have done for voice AI is like these services, like, air conditioner repair, stuff like these basic services that need help to, like they're missing a lot of calls, or they want to try to make it more efficient. And they almost always want the same thing, which is customer service and appointment setters. I guess, taking messages, but that's obviously just like it's using VAPI for most of the stuff. So it's just end of call report, stuff like that. Some other things I made though is an agent or an assistant. I don't know if you really should be using the word agent, but that for Shopify, that would, if somebody abandoned a cart and we had their phone number, it called them up and say, hey, listen, we just want to understand why you abandoned the cart. If you're interested in completing the purchase, we got a coupon for 20% off. It was easy to at the time it was hard for me, but it's like it's not hard to make, and it's very high value. Like I've never sold another one of these. I made one of these, and like this sounds like somebody could really sell, right? But anyways, I did sell. Now I didn't go into the guts of this. But I did have one transaction. Someone saw it. It's like, can you just run it for me? So I got a white label from that, and that does go to me. That business does go to me, and we basically just, the whole system's modular. What they made was originally made to be business. But I thought it'd be like more interesting to make it more modular because I had a little bit of interest in some other angles. And as it turned out, one of the interests was a interview coach for ESL, means English as the second language. So yeah, I still am in business with them, and so yeah, that's ongoing. Yeah, and I didn't make money on these, but I made some like sub agents, and then it did get me another interview with Jack on his channel, which got me more attention, which brought another business. So yeah, that's it's a long version. But yeah, so that's that. What I want to show you is inbound. I guess we'll try to talk to. I tried to put all the notes in the workflow, so I try to cover everything because I didn't really create an outline for that. So yeah, so where do we start here? So this is for an inbound system, and I have to do the outbound for you guys, and I'll post that for you. So where do we start? If you're not familiar, you have to really work with Twilio more, and it's not super complicated. But there's webhooks in Twilio, and can I zoom in on this? Yeah, okay, good. I don't know why I did that. It's like, okay, whatever. I guess I was trying to be secure. But you go up to your phone number, and you can configure this. It's really easy. There's 3 values you can configure. Most people, and you don't have to figure this, but you could have an alternative. Some like a useful case is one case that I helped somebody with was they wanted the primary call to go to a human agent. If they didn't answer, then it would go to the AI agent. So that's where you can use the if primary handler fails, then it'll go to the voice agent, for example. Okay, so it's actually very useful. If maybe you guys already know about that, but it's a very useful thing. We will be using the call status changes because this doesn't have they don't have an UltraVox, like an end of call report where they just automatically send it to you. You basically have to keep track of the end of the call through Twilio, and then through that, you could look through the call SID and then look up the record if you save in a database, and from that, look up and retrieve the recording. There's two endpoints, one for retrieving the recording, another endpoint for retrieving the transcription if you want that. Or you could retrieve the recording and convert it, whatever you prefer. Yeah, so that's the gist of it. Like to connect it, basically you have a number. I've left this out right here, and the number's right there. All right, so good job, me. Anyway, no, I was actually the
person that has done a workshop has doxed themselves, including Paige and I, multiple times. So don't worry.
Oh yeah. Well, anyways, I actually intentionally we'll leave this up for you guys to play around with a little bit because I don't mind. You could test a little bit because I've tried doing calls on a web thing, and depending on the web setup, it doesn't work. So I figured just test it yourself, So yeah, let's go through this real quick. So there is an endpoint to get different voices, right? Again, this is even more disconnected than Twilio. It's definitely not retail, and it's definitely not 11 Labs. Like you do have to deal with APIs. Ideally, you would actually code things, set up code and SDK and all that jazz. But there's an endpoint for listening voices, and I set that up for you guys. So you just put in your credentials and the header auth, which is really super to do. It's simple to do. I'll add that instructions too. Perfect. How to add your credentials. I'm sure you guys know how to do this kind of stuff, though. Just add credentials instructor. All right. So yeah. Okay. So that's for listening voices. You could just run this, test step to grab the voices to pick. So the way inbound works is, again, they'll call your Twilio phone number. You'll have a webhook, the primary webhook, right? A call comes in, webhook, right? It's a post. And that's coming in here. Now that call for Twilio is being redirected to your workflow right here. Okay, so that's the first step of the process. The next one, you have to instantiate the agent, right? Once you create an agent, it will get a join URL output. So I'll show you just real quick how that looks like. This is a very basic agent or assistant, right? Real simple system prompt I set up here, like trying to sell voice AI. The model, they might have some other models. This is their big model. You can pick the voice, which you could access again from the other point. This is who speaks first, right? So, and this is there's different ways you could use it. Twilio is obviously the most popular one. There's different methods you could connect the call. And then if you want to get the recording, you have to enable this variable is true. Real simple, right? Nothing complex about that. This is just saying the join URL so it's formatted for webhook. But the output from this is a join URL. So the agent could be connected to the call. And that's what you're doing right here. The response to Twilio is the actual connection, like the WebSocket. So that's all it takes. And that's an inbound call. It'll come in here, give you the abilities you need to create the agent, to connect the two together, and you're done. And the call runs on its own, obviously, because agent will do the job. You'd want to save information, right? So you could retrieve it. The most important thing to retrieve would actually be, or to save, is the Twilio SID, because that's how you retrieve it, because that's the thing that's really in common. Let's see what else I made. There is a...
So just to make sure I understand and everybody else understands, for this incoming call, we're mainly just managing it through Twilio. And there is a workshop that Stu did on the what you saw in that screenshot of Twilio for managing the different webhooks. So
yeah,
if you don't know,
I figured you guys covered that.
I'll link that workshop in the recording. So we have that incoming webhook from Twilio when somebody calls that phone number, and then we communicate with UltraVox.
Right.
Yeah, and would you open that up one more time? Is that where we set up the assistant details?
Yep. This is the instantiate the assistant here, or agent, whatever terminology you use.
Okay. And would you clarify one thing for me? Because I've heard both ways. Is UltraVox a speech-to-speech model, or does it follow the transcriber LLM voice model?
It's speech to speech natively, I believe.
Okay.
We could fact check that afterwards, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. And I think that's how they accomplish they're the kings of latency, for example. And you'll test it and you'll see that the latency is the best. I think if you're using, I think the price is the best too. Quality is an argument. Right? So yeah. And you get 30 minutes free too. So that's what I'm saying. Like, go ahead, call that number. Please, I encourage you. Use up my free credits.
Is the price for anybody who can figure out how to use their API? Is that
It's really not too bad once you figure it out. And then, by the way, to figure this out, I leaned on a LLM. I think Grok actually I was using just because for fun. But the LLMs can guide you through this, so this wasn't too hard to figure out.
Okay. Got it. Then finally, we're sending this join URL. Would you explain that to us one more time?
Yeah, so the way I set up this webhook, this is just basically formatting it so the webhook will know to send just that value back, right? So, depending on how you set up your webhooks, you might not need this node. But in short, the output from here, maybe I have an execution I did recently. The output, yeah, here, that's what should be it. Nope, that's the wrong one. Maybe this one. Sorry about that. I should have saved one of these open. There you go. Okay, so the output from the agent being instantiated is the join URL. This is the WebSocket, right? So here I am. I'm ready to talk. That's basically what it is, right?
So that's UltraVox saying, "I'm ready to talk. Here's the WebSocket."
Yeah, like I'm ready to go.
You pass that back to Twilio.
Yep, which connects them. It joins them to that.
Oh, fascinating. Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Yep, and they have beautiful babies together. So yeah, so after that, now to get, obviously you want the recording afterwards, like a must, right? So the way to do that is just keep a track of the status changes and have a filter. So if the call is completed, then we could do business, right? You could find the call based on the SID. The SID is basically from Twilio. So you look up your record, and maybe I should show you just like a basic my Airtable from a different platform for this. But right, so you got the call ID that would be coming from your agent or assistant. You got your call SID, that's from Twilio, right? This is your action with the inbound or outbound. You get the from number. It's a join URL. You don't have to save that. I saved that because it's a very temporary thing. And that's basically the basics, right? Because you want to save the SID. That's like the important thing to save. It's okay. Let's go back here. So when you have the SID, you see the status change and you can find the call based on the SID, right? Find it by the SID. Oh, we got our call. Then you could use the endpoint for grabbing recording. It's really simply it's calls. The calls endpoint, you just use the call ID. That's the agent value, right? There's, again, call D is from the agent. Call SID is from Twilio. Right, so you're just getting the call ID and the recording, and that gets you the download. Once you have the download, obviously there's a lot of ways to put the file up so you can have the URL for Airtable. Like Google Drive's an easy way to do it. Just go into Google Drive. Maybe somebody can tell me right now. I've been doing this out of habit, and I've never checked if you even need to do this, but I share a file. I don't know if you even need to do that. What that's the file is just to make sure that you can access the web content link, right? What we're using is it's called web content link. That's the one that's the URL they use. And once you do that, you can grab the, so we're just sharing that. Now it's on your drive. It's shareable. You're grabbing the transcripts, another endpoint. Okay. So instead of recording, it's just messages, which is a transcript. And then I did a very lazy job. Like really, you should actually have a code node here and format it because it gives the output. Let me see if I could show you that. The output is just like a bunch of JSON. It's basically JSON with a bunch of fields in it. So you'd want to use a code node to format that properly. If it's short enough, because 4.1 has such a huge context window, throw the whole thing in there. You don't have to worry about anything. But yeah, let's see here. Gosh, I can't remember what is what in here in this mess. Nope, it's not that one. Is it this one?
Yeah, hard to find. I also have issues with that.
Yeah, I have to mark the stuff. Oh gosh, it's not that one. This one maybe. Sorry about this, guys. Okay, great. Right, so when you grab the transcript, this is the format. Right, you see this? So it's the results, with a bunch of objects in it, I guess you'd call it, right? So really, you probably should use a code node to handle that, depending on what you're doing. But I did it lazy here. I just had it, map it out together, right? And just do a bunch, because 4.1 has such a big context. So I really like 4.1. And I just have it do a bunch of, basic things that we all do in the industry, right? We all do these things. We call it the overview, key points, sentiment analysis, agent performance, next action steps. I don't know, whatever you guys want to do. And then you're just saving it and updating it, right? So you'd save it as it could have multiple data points. I just saved it as a separate table right here and linked it to the call. That way it's a little bit cleaner. You get a recording, you get the URL, you get the actual recording. Can you guys hear that?
Cool that I can't hear it, but that's cool that you can click from Airtable. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Airtable's pretty cool, man. You can use a free version, and like a little I guess easy sleazy thing to do is just when your table's getting full, just duplicate it. You duplicate your table. The duplicate is a backup, and then just clear your table. You'd have to do any changes and go in there, and then you just keep on.
Yeah, you only get 1,000 rows. So that's amazing.
Yeah, and there's right. But yeah, okay. So I think that covers the basics there. So that's how you get the transcript. What else did I want to talk about? Talked about fallback already. You guys know about that. You covered it with Stuart, I believe. I think that's all the
From
Oh, by the way, same problem that you have with like Bappy. It can't hang up call. I don't know if there's a way to fix that, but I couldn't get to hang up the call. I noticed that.
Wait, so we just can't hang up?
Oh, annoying. It can't hang up. It says it can, but it can't. There might be a fix to that, but I could figure it out in the limited time I had.
So with that Twilio primary handler fail wrong one. Primary fallback. What are you using that for specifically?
Nothing. I wasn't sure if you guys had gotten a lesson or not. I was just showing how if you want to set up a system where you had the primary was actually just going to a human, and you wanted your voice AI to be a fallback, then it would go down this path. The voice AI system would go down this path, and this would be directed to a human.
Okay, cool. Or vice versa.
Whatever. Yeah, sure. Yeah, but why would a voice agent not call? I guess if you had over 20, it was unique.
That's kind of
20 connections at once. Good job. But if you have that problem, good job if you have that problem.
That'd be interesting. Or during business hours, routed here, and outside of business hours, routed here. But that's just our day.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, once you get the call into your workflow, you could do whatever you want with it. You know what I mean? You could look at the time. You could look at the, yeah. So that's exactly 30 minutes.
Cool. Hell yeah.
Well, by the way, like the original plan was to go over all this stuff I put together, right? I'll just let you guys check this out. Like I put together, actually, yeah, this one is like just a little like, why should you use UltraVox? And then navigating voice AI, right? Just a bunch of things I put together using my knowledge plus, AI help. Here's the REST API, the API. I also get 2 bonuses. Okay. Yeah, I guess you guys probably already know about this, but the voice agent to 2025 update from A16, their big investment firm, and they made a really cool report. Same with DeepGram made a report. So I put all that stuff here. Question time, I guess. Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Max. I'm glad that we have tons of time for Q&A. So what can you do? How do you do? You know a lot about a lot, but you don't know everything. So it's fine if the answers I don't know, or I'll check on that. But we want to open the floor to any questions that people have. You can put them in the chat and unmute, or you can raise your hand.
How do I close my share?
Oh,
I'm so incompetent at this. Thank you. And then
No.
by chat.
Doesn't make it easy.
Where's the chat at? Here's a chat. Okay, where are we at? That's a great story. Yes, yeah.
Then there's a bunch of me clarifying things for people that had varying levels of experience.
Yeah, for sure. On the using these agents for like Shopify and customer service as a supplement, or could be even primary, depending on the quality use, I think is a phenomenal use case, especially like chasing down like, abandoned carts, stuff like that is like really just, it's like free money. It's like profit. It's just free profit.
Yeah. Well, I'll kick it off with one of my questions, which was any tips for navigating the API for when we want to add functionality? Because what you show with the N8N scenario is awesome, and simplifies so much of how we try to do it last time, which was let's dig into the API and see what we can do. Well, first the dashboard, and that was a dead end, and then the API, and then it was like, well, how do you connect it to Twilio? And then we got into Cursor, and it's like, I'm sure Cursor can figure it out. Cursor cannot figure it out. So do you have any tips for navigating the API, or anything that you have experience in terms of this is what the API can or can't do?
Do I have tips for navigating the API? So I think really if it might be a good place to practice. Like I wouldn't, like, if you're doing production, stick with Vappy, stick with retail. This is a great use case, for example, of just like making a sub agent because it's cheap, fast. That wouldn't be hard to set up because it's not sophisticated. You don't have to do things super special. You see what I'm saying? Like, but if you really like have to develop like a whole solution, an app and stuff like that, it's not like, unless you're a coder, I don't know if it's a really good idea, or unless you like the idea of learning and using it as a platform to like learn and implement an actual app with code. That's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
More so than like that. Like Vappy does have. Now that being said, I don't use the dashboard. Like I don't even use the dashboard because I just don't know why. I guess just my usage of UltraVox. Like I've started trying to code with it, for example, and I started like looking at initial things and studying and stuff like that. But they do have a dashboard, and I just heard they recently, like maybe like a couple weeks ago, they released an agent system, which is new, or a week ago maybe.
Okay.
So you might check that out. Maybe they're adding more features to the dashboard to be more competitive with the big boys, as we say. It is an open source model, by the way, but you'd have to have your own little server room because it's a 70 gigabyte series, 70 gigabyte. Like it's not something you run on your computer.
Yeah, just the thought of setting up all the WebSockets in my end, it gives me.
Yeah. Also the computational, because it really is like, it's voice to voice. So it's like very like, it's intense. You would need some serious hardware. Yes. Was there any other questions here?
Okay. So they did set up in the dashboard. Okay, cool. That's new. That, I guess it came out right after we tried it ourselves.
It's very recent. It's very recent.
So this is what that looks like. Remember, guys, we set up this one through the API. I guess we didn't give it a system prompt. And oh, you can choose voice tools. Oh, look how sophisticated. We have a hang up function.
Ooh,
Incredible. Who would have thought of that?
Yeah, they do have a rag system built in too. I haven't tested it, but they do have a rag system built in, so you don't have to build your own. You could though, obviously.
Yeah. Call recording. You can so you can do a few more things, but the actual making calls, receiving calls, answering all that stuff is still through API. But it's cool that if you see now, it makes a lot more sense to me to have that template end-to-end workflow where you can just process the webhooks coming in, answering the call, getting the call recording, but you can actually edit your agent here. That makes so much more sense to me.
I'll finish it for you too. Like I just have to do the outbound, so you have a system to use for for whatever. It's like a base.
Yeah. That system, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, so voice activity detection. This is, it could very much alter your agent's performance. This is one of the few unsolved challenges with voice agents, especially in the speech-to-speech side. There's a lot of companies doing good on this, but I like that I have more control. OpenAI doesn't give me enough control with the speech-to-speech model, and the other models are just a little, primitive when it comes to voice detection. It's like, wait these amount of seconds, stuff like that. Okay, anyway.
There's a question about other languages. Yeah, it does. It doesn't support as many as the other platforms, the other big platforms, but it does.
We have, I'm looking at the list, English, Indian. I don't know if that's with an Indian accent or actual Hindi. Portuguese. No, I think it's Indian English. So it has Portuguese, Arabic, Egyptian Arabic, Spanish, and then Slovak, Romanian, Tamil, Finnish. Okay, it has a bunch of others. But I was wondering if those others are from like 11 labs. Because when we checked last time, yeah, Steve, English, Australian, yeah. So a lot of the voices are from 11 labs. I'm not sure how to identify which ones are native speech-to-speech and which ones are.
No, I think the ones, if they have, Steve is native, I believe. Pretty sure. 11 Labs, you'd have to connect. Like, it's a newer thing that you could connect 11 Labs to it.
Interesting.
And it would be like whatever they have.
I said last time some of the voices were tagged with 11 labs and now they're not. So that was, I guess, confusing to me.
Click on check voices section on the left navigation. So if you go up, these are all built in. Yeah, these are built in. So go back up to the top though.
Yeah.
You see they're built in. Then you could we could clone voices. Is that?
Well, okay.
I never played with that.
I wonder if the 11 labs or if they created their own voice cloner. Interesting.
They have their own, looks like. I like 80% sure you can connect 11 labs to it. I just I haven't played with that. Maybe it's just through the API.
Interesting. So we got, I was seeing the list and a lot of these, so Chinese, Swedish, German, Arabic, Dutch, French. Yeah, cool. That's quite a few. I'm so curious if Steve is Steve I know.
Welcome to the Innovative Down Under podcast. I'm your host.
Yeah, that's 11 Labs, Steve, 100%. I know it too well. Check it out.
Yeah, maybe they just stole it.
To have with us Dr. Emily Chen, a leading expert in AI.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if then they cloned that voice, but I don't know. That was kind of my big question around speech to speech or traditional, because I knew that they had integrated voices from 11 Labs. So I don't know.
That's just question the API.
Might just be through API.
Might be, yeah.
I did want to give your agent a call if that's cool.
Go for it, please. Have fun.
Would you pull up the number one more time?
Yeah. Let me get it. Here, I'll just put it in the chat.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, fun here. Media group chat.
Let's not give him $100 bill.
You should be fine.
$10.
40 minutes. $10 bill app. I'll eat it.
It is 5 cents. It is actually 5 cents a minute. Plus, I guess Twilio.
Plus Twilio. I get nonprofit rates for Twilio, so those are pretty cheap for me too.
At your service, this is
Okay,
Kathy.
wait a second. I call it too soon. I want to share screen.
At your service, this is Cassidy. How may I assist you today?
Hey, Cassidy. I was wondering the same thing. How could you assist me?
We specialize in voice AI solutions that can really transform the way you interact with customers or manage tasks, and I'd love to explore how they can benefit you, whether it's through automation, real-time support, or just making things more efficient.
Yeah. Customer support is I'm in dire need of good customer support.
Voice AI can be a game changer for customer support, offering 24/7 assistance, quick response time, and personalized interactions at a fraction of the cost of traditional methods.
Okay, it doesn't react to interruptions, which is interesting.
No worries, I'm used to it. So
That's really good latency you got there.
that's actually a key benefit.
You know about your own system and how you work.
Thanks. I'm designed to focus on the conversation flow, and I can handle interruptions without getting sidetracked, which is especially useful in real-time interactions like customer support, where every second counts.
Cool. And you got a pretty cool voice there. Can you sing?
Thanks for the compliment, but I'm afraid I'm not capable of singing. My voice is limited to spoken conversations, but I can definitely help you explore how voice AI can enhance your business or personal projects with its modern and accessible technology.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Can we set up an appointment so I can get that customer service agent set up?
I'd be happy to help you set up a meeting to discuss implementing a voice AI customer service agent, which can provide automated support and help reduce costs. Let me just check my schedule real quick.
My schedule. That's funny.
I'm a large language model. I don't have a personal schedule, but I can connect you with a specialist who can help you set up a voice AI solution that fits your needs and budget.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That was really good latency, or 5 cents a minute. That's very, very good latency.
You can interrupt it, but sometimes I guess you just have to be a little bit more aggressive.
Okay, cool. Good to know. Yeah, I like doing those little trick questions to look into its system prompts rather than like yours. And yeah, it was cool. Cool answer. We got a message from Chris. He's gonna share all of it, and also all the resources from today, all the past workshops. I am not able to see. Okay, there you go. Thank you, Zoom, for working sometime. All of them are in the classroom under Wednesday workshops, and I'm setting up now where the recording and all the resources are going to be. So Max, if you will, please make that post, and then I'll get all those resources in here. The stool work keep referencing for learning the Twilio API and all that stuff is also there, and I'm going to link it as well.
I'll send this version like right away. I'll post it so you guys can grab it right away, and then I'll finish the we called outbound, and then post another version for you guys.
Cool.
I didn't finish that.
Great, thank you so much, man. We got a question from Sam. We struggle in Cursor 2 with UltraVox, and it seems Windsurf isn't doing much better. Oh, okay. Well, that's too bad. For the front end widget, we need to work in dashboard and backend code, right? Last night, Windsurf was asking to fix Dino module in Supabase. Feels like going around in circles. Maybe I should start fresh. Oh boy, we should have been in that working session where we were trying to figure all this out. Max, how much have you, dove into the API of UltraVox and put it into a backend? Or is this kind of as far as you've gone into the practical, put it into a phone number and being able to answer phone calls?
Yeah, I've just started myself, but I don't mind sharing as I learn. Also, like, I'd be surprised if you can't just find UltraVox solution, like open source thing that people have built, so you could look how they did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Huh. I imagine that since the model is open.
Even they provide you with a bunch of, they provide you with the SDK for JavaScript. They have a web quick start. It's there. Python. It's there. Like you just start with what works. That's like a pro tip, right? Start with what works, and then go from there. Because I think a problem you'll find with a lot of these solutions is it's like kind of a newer setup. It's, it's not trained on it so much. So if you give it, like, if you look at like what's already made and start with that, where it's stable, get that running, and then that's my plan. I mean, I'm going to be going through. I bookmarked a couple. I can share that with you too. I think there's some people that made solutions publicly. They're out there, and GitHub. You just find them and play with them. So
Awesome.
yeah, that's where I'll start. I wouldn't start with these vibe coding, whatever.
Have you gone that quick start to work yet? Or did you follow my awful path and then just try to vibe code all the way through and fail massively? Learned massively.
You'll love it, Chase. You'll love it.
I'm dying. I'm dead.
Okay, yeah. Vibe chaser, yeah. I would love to get it to work. I'd love to see the quick start working. So once you get the quick start working, Sam, happy to look at it. Tomorrow we got build hours, 3 p.m. Eastern, and it's an excellent place for us to dig into rabbit holes. I do want to point out that I have been seeing with Cursor, Windsurf, giving it too much too fast. Once you start hitting the, hey, you might want to check the Dino module and because it's not working, that is when maybe taking a couple steps back in your maybe original prompt, maybe in some arbitrary decisions that the agent made in Cursor or Windsurf of like, hey, we're gonna use Dino, why not? Those are good checkpoints to go back to branch out and vibe code into success and not a loop of hell.
So you also, depending where you're starting too, like if you want to like start from scratch, you can build big chunks of the tools on N8N. So to access outgoing and inbound stuff is just a webhook, right? So what you'd be building is more like the visual interface or whatever you need, or the web embed. I mean, like, it depends on your use case, but that if you're using N8N and Airtable, also you're using no-code tools, which are super easy, very comfortable. You have to understand like Supabase, which is, it's its own thing, like.
Yeah. So Sam, super excited to dive more into it during build hours. I will ask you some more questions, or if you want to DM me so I have more context around why you chose UltraVox. What is it that you're actually trying to do? Is it the cost and latency that attracted you to it? And all those contextual hints can help us guide you better into what you actually want to make. Because UltraVox is one, decision along the path to get you to what you actually want to build. You might find that VAB is a better option for building a front end with a voice agent. But if you're going for cost optimization over everything else, then come these decisions and these blockers that you're gonna find with UltraVox. But yes, Max, thank you for going principle first, which is going from what works, what others have built. So it is an open source. I'm sure the open source community is all over this when it comes to building things on top of it. That maybe for other platforms that aren't open source or models that aren't open source, not as much. So I'm sure there's a lot out there. Explore it, and we'll meet up again to talk about it on build hours tomorrow. And Zach said, break the problem down and start with a smaller portion of it. Just getting UltraVox to work and just with the N8N module that Max shared, I'm sure is going to be really, really helpful as a start. Cool.
Yeah, I'll make it full too. I'll make sure there's outbound there too.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Yeah, Chris, you'll find that in the N8N. Voice flow also might not be a bad option, says Zach. If you need cost optimization, it's around 5 cents a minute, and it has more supporting docs for the API. I have not used voice flow for voice agents. I only used it for chatbots back in the day, but I've been hearing good things. I've not heard any things which is concerning to me. That people picked it up and then just dropped it because whatever. Or it can indicate that not enough people are using it to actually make progress. Anyway, but that's just an assumption.
Yeah, it's pretty new. It's pretty new, Alejo. And is it Alejo or Alejo, as Max said?
Alejo.
Alejo.
Oh,
Okay.
Sorry.
no worries. Not it.
I always confuse that.
Well, I was confused as to what name you use, because you have 1,000 different names.
Yeah, I mean, I was raised in America, then I moved to Israel, and so in Israel, I took my Hebrew name, so it's confusing. I have a legal name in Israel and a legal name in America, so yeah, I confuse everybody, including myself.
And then a legal name on school. Yeah. Awesome. Are there any other questions that Max can guide us along? Cool. Max, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your experience and your exploration. And
A pleasure.
any blockers that you find, I'm sure will be useful for the community. So when you hit walls, as you keep exploring, as you try the outbound, all that stuff, that's also really useful information for everybody else. We don't ask, workshop speakers to have something that's perfect. We just have something that pushes everybody else forward, and you certainly delivered on that. So thank you, man.
No problem. Pleasure.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everybody else. Any other questions that come to mind, you can make a post in the community.
Tag me.
Them, either Max or me. We do ask that you do a post, so everybody else gets that from it as well.
Also, if you're coding, by the way, you can't ask a question without you have to be able to see the code. Like you have to do like Loom or some sort of video and go over it, because with no code workflows, you could sometimes without seeing anything kind of figure out what's going on. But code, it's like no way.
Yeah,
No,
even with code closed, because it's a visual platform, having the visual can also help. So thanks for the application, Max. Yeah. Thank you all so much. We will see you all tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern for build hours, new time for Thursday build hours. For those that didn't hear, we have build hours on Mondays now as well, 7 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day or night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, Max. See you soon, brother.